This
So,
is,
so
The
in
end
fact,
of
she's
the-
had 2 cataract,
Okay.
in each
Yeah.
eye replaced, and that's fine. But she still has problems with double vision, which does not get corrected with cataract lenses. So she'll still have to wear glasses, and with corrected lenses, we'll see what comes about from that.
Better is always better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It was interesting.
Oh, I can
Are there,
pass
okay,
on
that's
that
okay, you
along.
didn't know. Are there at least 2 more there? Good. And I think you have my original.
Wrong hand.
Yeah,
Well, here we go. Why don't we trade?
yeah.
I have one.
Oh, then
She's
we'll.
gone.
So there's extras. I wound up with lots. Now, in the spirit of Christmas, I am presenting a poem that was turned into a song, and I think that the composer, John Henry Hopkins Jr., must have had a very interesting life. He was the one that did the eulogy for Ulysses S. Grant. But since it's talking about the star that they followed, I gave a synopsis of a movie that actually you can get online, watch online. So you can watch it for free, The Star of Bethlehem. So on the right-hand side is the synopsis of that. But since I had said that I am still working on a poem that I will sing when I do get it finished, I decided to do a song for this morning. We 3 kings of Orient are, bearing gifts we traverse afar. Field and fountain, moor and mountain, following yonder star. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star of royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Born a king of Bethlehem's plain, gold I bring to crown him again. King forever, ceasing never, over us all to reign. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star of royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Frankincense to offer have I, incense owns a deity nigh. Prayer and praising, home and raising, worship him, God on high. Oh, star of wonder, star of night, star of royal beauty bright, westward leading, still proceeding, guide us to thy perfect light. Myrrh is mine, its bitter perfume breathes a life of gathering gloom. Sorrow sighing, bleeding, dying, sealed in a stone-cold tomb. I'm going to stop there because that's the 3 gifts that were brought, the gold, the frankincense, and the myrrh. And that's where everybody thinks there were 3. We don't know the number. We just know of people. We just know the number of the gifts. But I think it's really interesting, and this synopsis of the Star of Bethlehem is from a scientific perspective, that they can reproduce the sky at any time in history using a mathematical formula and computers nowadays. That actually, it was back, I think, in the 1800s that the mathematical formula was first invented, and they were often, some of their calculations, because they didn't have the exact date of when Jesus was born. But it is proven about how these stars came together and formed what is being called the Star of Bethlehem. Thank you for letting me be first.
I can go. I will say, if I fall asleep in the midst of reading my own poem, just hammer on the table. I'll wake up, I think, okay? So I have, I'm gonna start this one around, and then this is the second one. Just a little piece of information. My daughter lives in Chicago, and she's lived there for 10 years or something. And the area that she lives in now is a inner city and Logan Square. And I've just watched it, the happening of the gentrifying. And so I was just kind of interested in, here, that's the second one. Oh, wait a minute, I do need one myself, actually, I think.
It might be.
When it comes, yeah, when it comes around, let me have one, will you? So I didn't think I would be here today, but I just, I suddenly just decided I could do something about that, and so I just think it's an interesting issue.
You pass the pack along.
Are we supposed to get two?
Got two, yeah.
Is it all one?
It's coming.
No, it's the first one is gentrifying Chicago, and then there's the back.
Because we didn't get your name on both sheets, so.
Oh, no,
I write a
sorry.
sheet.
I did make it on one.
Yeah,
Well, we
sure.
need to get creative.
Okay.
Okay,
It's distinctive, Robin, anyway.
okay. Gentrifying Chicago. On the playground, Latino kids curious to touch the red curls on the toddler's head. But after 2 years, no one is startled to see blue-eyed children with white parents clicking away on their smartphones, photo snapping, and videos. The customary corner store, the Supermercado, had lunch. 30-cent cilantro, so cheap for a bunch. Boarded up windows, a menu torn, still hanging on the locked up door. A couple stores down, an open sign, the French patisserie, where yuppies choose almond croissants and select their favorite computer tables to contemplate their screens. Johnny's Grill on the edge of the square, stools at the counter, Mexican style, eggs with onions and hot peppers, fried potatoes and chorizo fat. New owners held on to the name, but the dining tables are color blocked, and breakfast offers cured salmon Benedict, Nutella, and brioche. 2 years ago.
Not good, I hope. That would be vile.
2 years ago, the city put blue recycling cans in the alleyways, a windfall for folks who glean the junk and trade any sort of metal for bucks. The giant Latino grocery store carries tortillas freshly made. They've added organic veggies and fruit, but very few clerks speak English. The hole-in-the-wall bars, a block from the Basilica, will pour straight Polish vodka to the top of a water glass. The newbie bars offer cocktails with paragraphs boasting their fares, including annatto seed bitters, Icelandic birch, and poached pears.
Now, what is meant by the hole, what is meant by the hole in the wall bars?
Oh, they're just little bars that are like a hole in the wall. And they're just, you have to know kind of where the
I wondered about putting hyphens in
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Well, think of Athens 30 years ago, uptown, Athens 30 years ago. And if you remember not around
Is
that
this
time-
other page a continuation of the poem?
Yes,
Yeah.
the rest of it.
She just
Yeah,
got interrupted in the.
it's okay, no problem. It's a little resting time for me, that's good.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Not a separate one.
No.
Okay.
Shops are no longer kindred souls. Tight, sexy pants on mannequins stand, a dozen or more turned toward the street, while next door is a pricey gift shop that sells Eiffel Tower linen towels and wall plaques painted with dessert recipes. First Communion clothes were sold, white dresses and veils for the girls, but a news store took over with a window display, snazzy tablets, gaming phantoms, and swords. A gang house known for a decade has spiffed up with siding and trim. Skylights show up on rooftops along with decks and gardening. On the next block, a rooster hops up on a broken fence. Crabgrass high up to the door. Looks like no one could live here anymore.
That's quite a picture.
Yeah, it's good.
Yes, description of an area.
It's just such an odd thing, and I'm sure everybody's had experiences with gentrifying areas in big cities. It's just so,
It should be going the other way around.
No, I think it's going to gentrification these days.
Well, yeah, but it's still usually the other way around. It's usually going down in the inner cities. And it's lucky, yes, it's
Well,
going,
inner
yes,
cities are going the other direction,
Yeah,
back up.
occasionally.
Gentrification.
they're not,
Which is causing a problem for the people who
For the
live
poor,
here
yeah.
because the rent has gone up so much.
No, not you.
You did a great job of capturing
yeah,
the
that's a great
difference.
job,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've been there.
Yeah.
it's just the first part of it, it was just such an amazing time when we were on the playground. And my granddaughter has very light skin and huge blue eyes and red hair. And the kids, she was the only one that looked like that at all. And the kids would just come up and touch her hair.
They basically accepted her though, other than her hair.
Yes, yeah,
That's good. I mean,
yeah, they didn't, they,
my mom grew up in the south side, and of course we was going the other way when we came back. It
I see what
was
you're
terribly
meaning.
dangerous now, as you know
Yes.
from the.
Yeah, my blonde-headed boys were quite a treat in a Cuban neighborhood.
Yeah, it's just kind of a wonder.
It's nice to see the decline of the suburb, right? I mean, the
Well, yeah.
attraction is the inner city and the gentrification.
Yeah.
Well, the suburbs aren't the suburbs anymore, Sven.
Yeah, there's definitely some
That-
positives and
That's where
some.
the cocaine is sold out in the suburbs, right?
I love the details you put in here.
Thank you.
Things very nicely observed, you know, the vodka to the top of the water glass, you know, and. all
My
that.
husband was kind enough to find out about that. Not at this point, but, I know about this.
Is it
because-
Patron?
Good, good.
Research assistant. right?
Do they spell,
Yes,
do they spell it with a
Buoyancy.
W?
yeah.
What?
They do actually spell it with a
Buoyancy,
W, because
I couldn't
usually in Europe, a V is pronounced as a
What?
W, as in,
It's
German,
yeah, it's
German,
vodka, I think, but
Vodka.
it's W, yeah.
uh-huh.
Yeah.
Felix,
I forgot to put that.
read.
My turn. All right, mine is entitled Buoyancy, and we blame that on Ruth, who suggested buoyancy as a possible theme.
God, I totally
If I sound a
forgot
little blubbery and rubber-mouthed,
You're the one
I,
that suggested it.
Shame.
I
She said
I
she
had
forgot
dental
about the
surgery
theme.
this morning just before I came here, so I can't feel the whole side of my head. So
Oh.
my tongue wags in unusual ways, and I blame it on my dentist. And buoyancy.
You have a buoyant tongue.
I have a buoyancy. Strange sensation.
Is this how it feels though?
Yeah, it'll go away.
It does.
Buoyancy. The family home is too big for me alone, but it's just right when loved ones visit. I just hosted a festive family feast, serving a favorite meal I know they like. I also baked a double-layer chocolate cake. My visitors have now returned to their homes. I load the dishwasher, sponge the messy table, and note that only the crumbs of my cake remain. Gone is the clamor of children, grandkids, and pets. So recently animated, my world is now still and silent. My hollow house is haunted with memories. I wave off a sinking feeling of great loss, as if both the life and soul of my life have vanished. I try to smother thoughts of lonesome remorse. Floating face down, I drown in sweet nostalgia.
Oh my God. And how is that buoyant?
Yeah.
I'm
lava.
floating face down. I'm floating. That's buoyant.
I'd probably make hollow though.
Sweetness.
Pardon me?
I'd probably make hollow.
Hollow, no, hollow.
I'm
I
not
mean,
making hollow though.
hallowed, yeah, I could have hallowed it, but
But
I
that's
wanted
the
to
theme
give
of
a
it though.
sense of the house being empty and echoing and
That is,
silent.
I love that.
You did a marvelous job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You let us into your head.
The
Well, you know,
feeling.
in the aftermath of visitors coming, do you often have that feeling of Trieste,
Yes.
I guess, that's almost
Something that's too
like
quiet.
the sadness that comes after sex, they say. What do the French say? The moment of after sex is sad, Trieste. But there's an aftermath in which you replay the events and you wonder if it went well, and then they all have a good time, and what a mess I have to clean up. And,
It makes doing the dishes easier
yeah.
because you're otherwise occupied.
Because you replay it all one more time, you enjoy it retrospectively. Anyway, that's my contribution.
But the quietness is just amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, because something, after all that noise, you suddenly still, you can hear a mouse breathing across the room.
It's a very nice point.
It is.
Yep.
Very nice.
Your face up now.
It's what now?
Your face up now.
Well,
I
it's,
think, are you?
it's, I don't know.
Oh,
I
maybe
can't
not.
tell. I'd be the last to
You're
know.
not floating down, though.
I think.
All the way?
Okay. If you looked at the sky in the last 2 days, that's what this, the early morning sky. The sky sweep. The sky sweep is quite in a swizzle. He can't decide which way or if the drizzle will come and whether the day will bring rain or sun. To top it all off, he overslept and locked up the broom so he can't start sweeping. He decides to just take a break, look this way and that, and savor the clouds that were shedding black shadows as they emerged from their covers. He delighted in the pinks, which quickly disappeared as the blue sky awoke quite refreshed on its way to sunnier climes. But wait, soldiers of grayness come marching across the sky, determined to lead the parade. Will they bring rain or shine?
That's really nice.
It was like the dawn yesterday. It was the whole. We just glowing gold this morning for a little while.
I noticed that.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
that-
marvelous.
Just the sky that I saw. I mean,
Yeah, I just
it's
couldn't-
there in all the details.
Yeah. So,
It's been
Locked up the
remarkable.
brooms, I like
Yeah.
that.
It's a little different for you.
yes, it is.
Yeah.
Sky sweep, I like that.
I like that too. Have you used that phrase before, sky sweep, or was that just invented for this poem?
Chimney sweep.
I've never heard of it.
No, I never did either.
But I can
Is it a
imagine it.
takeoff of
I'll look
chimney
at the
sweep?
sky and think of that. Yeah.
Just,
Showed the picture my daughter sent me just yesterday. It was a sky, must have been the same sky you were looking at. It was a very mysterious
it
sky.
was, it kept
And it
changing.
fascinated
Yeah.
Just
everyone.
constantly.
At certain points when it was so bright, the shadows were really dramatic.
Yeah.
I thought, oh my God, the ocean is right over the hill. Didn't it feel like
We'll give it a few hundred more years and it will be.
Yeah, it might be.
I need to go. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Yesterday was the last day of Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate. Kwanzaa starts the day after Christmas, so see you.
That's why happy holidays.
holidays.
It encompasses everything.
Yeah.
Long.
Sorry, you were born.
Okay.
Shame on you, Chris.
No, I was when I was writing this, I got really. It was yesterday when we had that weird weather, and I said, well, it's playing April Fool's game on us, and she'll come back now and really clobber us. It's cold. It's going to feel even worse than anything. And of course, it's all about the greenhouse effect, and I'm just pissed off at the Republicans right now. So that Gaia is pissed. Buds are swelling, burgeoning life, following no winter of quiescence, flowering rose in winter, carbon dioxide should have been CO2, I'm sorry.
Wait, hold it. Just,
Go back.
I can't keep up with you.
Yeah,
Okay.
slow down.
Yeah, okay, okay, Gaia is pissed. Buds are swelling, burgeoning life, following the winter of quiescence, flowering a rose in winter, carbon dioxide disturbing Gaia's sequence, beyond of patterns fractured by strife. Predictability allows life to flourish. Dissonance of entropy breaks Kikuli's carbon bonds back to prokaryotic slime. Atavism, the name is Republican. Kekule is a guy who was trying to do, a chemist, was trying to do his research into how carbon-based compounds are so stable. And he knew about single bonds and double bonds, and didn't think they switched around at all. And he was having supposedly another night, sort of like Coleridge with the Ancient Mariner, and dreamed of this pentagon with the shimmy, with the double bond floating around the pentagon. So that's why carbon is such a stable.
Oh, CO, I just figured out what that is.
It's carbon dioxide. I'm sorry to put
Yeah.
the two on.
Okay.
You left the two off, okay.
Yeah.
What
'Cause
is
Prokaryotic.
Yeah.
That's the evolution of life from before a nuclear membrane. All the DNA was just sort of loose in the cell doing the shimmy. Blue-green algae. It's a slimy. It's crud, but it needed to be there before this nucleus formed and gathered the DNA into the nice tight little bundle. It's a neat word.
It is.
It's prokaryotic and eukaryotic, and it's just,
It's what happens inside a refrigerator
Yeah.
when the power goes off.
yeah.
That's what's happening inside my refrigerator.
What did your last line mean? Atavism.
Atavism is a harkening back to a much more primitive form, or primitive emotion, primitive form, primitive whatever. So when you can't change your outlook,
As the Republicans,
React-
they're going back to the
reactionary.
slime, right?
yeah, and they'll feel it so much at home there.
That's part
They'll
of
feel at home there.
From the slime, it's back to the slime. The elephants are trumpeting.
Anybody that watches it is used to that by now.
How can so many people
That's
not
great.
face reality? I have a really difficult question.
I
They're
don't
morons and
think
they can't help it.
We'll ever sort that one out.
Generic enough?
Oh, the red cat.
Money buys everything, including
I
ignorance.
tried so hard to get a poem, I couldn't do it, so I picked up a poetry writing book and I did an assignment, which was to write a long sentence. I can do that. So,
Of course
the red cat. The blind, deaf, red-furred cat, my cat, miraculously can hear the rattle of his dry food pellets in his bowl, which resides at a jump off the bed and 2 left turns, arriving at the water and food he loves. If devouring rapidly is any indicator of pleasure in this, one of his last few sources of pleasure, in addition to snuggling with me at night.
I think that's pretty good
It's a good sentence.
sentences.
Yeah.
You've
I don't know
captured
why
the
they
character of that
suggested. I
red cat.
I don't know why they suggested I write a long sentence, but
Well, I think this poem shows your pleasure with this too. This cat, that is for sure. Oh my God. I didn't realize it was already time. Okay.
It is amazing how cats can hear the smallest sound of a treat bag or their food. It's just,
Or even
I
you
mean,
chewing something good.
across the house. It's just, you just
Or they're
Sound
sound
about
asleep.
Yeah.
Maybe he
Big.
smells
Right.
it.
Maybe he smells it instead of sees it or
But that
hears
far
it.
away? No.
In the
No,
bed, that's
I
right
don't
beside
think
the bed.
cat smell is as good as the dog smell.
No, they don't have the terminals in the nose.
What?
They don't have the terminals in the nose that a dog does. That's the line, it's lined that I was.
Whenever I eat chocolate, he noses all over the place.
That's not dark chocolate you're feeding him.
Now, is there two?
It's double-sided, just one each, one paper each.
Oh, you're giving out holiday stress.
Right, and there's a poem on the other side.
Okay, front and back, front and back.
It's coming.
Slowly. Think about functioning.
Holiday stress. Conscious only every other second. They say we are. A sort of half-life of the brain. Amazing what we accomplish considering. We dream it, we do it, we build it, we create it, we make it happen, and we do good things. Seems like we got it. We're all together there. That's not the blues we sing. We can hardly shut ourselves up, overthinking the major nuisance, not only to a good night's sleep or be here now, missing the present. If we had any sense, our conscious side would use a trim and let the unconscious woolly lambs run amok, not neatly jumping over the effing fence.
You'll
It
feel
was
better in a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty good to be conscious only every other second.
that's what they say we are, only
That's not
conscious
bad.
every other
That's
second.
pretty good.
Ooh,
So
What?
human beings supposedly. But I wrote that poem. I mean, it's one of those things that comes out of you, you know. And then I thought, what's this?
It's good. It's a, and there have been some real good programs on the brain on PBS last
Yeah.
sessions. The brain is a lot of processing going on before it thought appeared, even within the brain, so that we are living in a slight time lag, delayed sequence of life.
I know, it's really interesting.
Well, that in and out of consciousness is the gift to the poet who can
Yeah.
connect all these unrelated thoughts
Oh, yeah.
because that's what they come out, you know, they
Yeah.
just spew out, that they've
Stream of
eliminated all the connection. So it's from one thought to another without a connection.
There we go. So
Contemporary poetry.
the backside is modern love.
Modern love.
Modern love. Picking out Roma tomatoes at the local Kroger's, she hears a ding. And being a good dog, she checks her phone. Her love texts he wishes he was coming to her, home to her tonight. That's all he wants, so simple. But he's 5 states away, even as he's with her in the produce section. Still, he writes so sweetly, her eyes well up with tenderness. She types back she wishes he was here, while her cart blocks another shopper wanting tomatoes too. Their short, bittersweet exchange interjects some wistfulness to the usual pleasures of the fun health food section. Still, he'll get a hazelnut chocolate bar since that's her name, and she freely admits, God help her, she's way too far gone in this love-struck game. But so is he. By 10 rows down, he's written again, signing off with love and lust in his heart, as a la Jimmy Carter playfully. She laughs, her heart swells with joy. There in the cat food aisle, no less, she writes him. Meow, he replies.
So much more interesting in crowhers. I'll watch people and see what they're really thinking.
It's better than Walmart.
There you go.
I'm sorry to be class conscious, but
Funny.
Yeah, I just have been.
Some of the
around
best
there.
people I know shop at Walmart.
Yeah, but they're surrounded by others.
Well, and some of those also shop at Kroger's, those
No.
others.
Not
Well
for
done,
meat.
Ruth.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, that's neat.
Yeah.
The tomatoes are always crowded,
They are.
even though in the winter
she's
they're
crunchy.
terrible.
Yeah.
We're all
They are,
getting
they're
them.
like little
Crunchy
birds.
cucumbers. Oh, beautiful paper again.
Well, this is Merry Christmas to you, and it's a Christmas note to fellow square dancers. Thank you for all these reasons for being our fellow square dancers. You have helped us to challenge, grow, and strengthen our brain with better brain connections, and create with you more congenial cooperation, considerate
Speak up,
care.
Larry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Want me to start over?
No,
No.
just carry on in a louder voice.
Considerate caring, cheer, more joy, and because of you we have meaningful friendships, more meaning in our lives, mightier memories, mindful mentoring, milder moods, more motor coordinated movements, and live with greater purpose, enjoy laughter and levity, achieve longevity, and fulfill our needs for friendship, fellowship, fun, food, and retain and grow our organs, mind, memory, mood, movement functions, gain a tentative hearing of the calls, sustain our hope for a good life, again, dance onward as portrayed by the squares around this border, and remain connected with you, our square dance friends, and we remain committed to recognize Christ's Spirit throughout the year. These reasons are shared with our square dance friends by Mary and Larry. We're grateful and thankful for each of you as our square dance friends.
Wow, you were in an alliteration mood, weren't you?
You noticed that.
Yeah, you're in a better mood than Ruth.
You like to
Ruth was
list.
playing
It's
Bob,
not-
but what did they, how did they respond? Have you given it to them
They
yet?
haven't. I
Oh.
brought it to you to edit it, so,
Ah.
or maybe, I have not submitted it. We square danced last night, and I thought I'd have it ready for them, but I didn't. I just have it ready for you.
Just for laughs, you
Go
could
ahead.
put in some of the ugly features of the group instead of making them all kind of holier than thou people.
Like the people who step on your feet when you're square dancing.
Yeah. All you
Or
clumsy
go to the
oafs.
right instead of the left like I do.
Yeah.
Oh, no,
It's
you're
just
left
not
or
work
you're
well.
right.
But it's
Yeah.
easy to get wrong directions in square dancing.
Automatic
You're
left.
so
Left,
sweet.
left, not
Yeah.
left.
Yeah.
I
So
want left.
sweet. You don't have to be so sweet.
He's talking to you, Larry, not me.
Life is not
I
that
didn't realize it for a moment.
Just a little comment, I think, if you didn't underline, it kind of would move a little bit more. It's sort of the underlining kind of stops each one of the words that's underlined.
Okay, I can take those out. I put them in for those who do not want to read. They just wanted to get the highlights.
You're your own,
Welcome to the poetry club.
Well, you
Cliff
know
note.
what, Larry?
What?
You could put it in some of the calls here, and that would break it,
Yeah.
you
Right.
know.
Put it in
Yeah, that would
Some of
be.
the
calls.
Some of the
Atmosphere.
calls.
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's been your part.
Thank you for that suggestion. That's,
Do-si-do and
Fall down now.
That's a good idea.
yes.
Squaring the circle.
Wow.
Is this one of the, your
A funny bird.
Yeah, the Pelican is Joy stained glass, as some of you may know.
Here it is.
And it was just moved from one window to another, and so I had it in mind, as well as the Pelican
Right.
poem that I had distributed that was written by the faculty member here. But there's one on the other side, but let's do the Pelican first then. Where would we be if pelicans all left us and vanished out to sea? If stones were not hard and all cheese were like brie? If oaks were mere bushes, but dandelions were high, if worms developed wings and under darkness would fly, if snow just swirled and never came down, and rain on landing would instantly dry. If socks were made from rocks and air were not free, and our sun were so bright it was impossible to see, such a time is now impossible to see, but with the passing of centuries, it could be.
Wow.
Great.
A little bit of nonsense, I don't know, having to do with
Whimsy.
the global climate change or something.
I was going to ask if you base this on any particular thing you read. I mean, do you know if there will come? I suppose if things were so hot that the rain, if it came, could dry.
It wouldn't be a
No
problem, though,
particular
'cause we
reading, it
wouldn't-
was just kind
It
of
wouldn't be-
wild, uncheckered imagination or
Yeah.
something, you know.
One a little comma I would suggest, right in the very last line, but with the passing of centuries, comma, it could be.
Mhm. Yeah, I thought that.
Very, very thought-provoking. I like the brie, too.
See, all the punctuation has been burned off on all the
Till the
preceding.
end.
So
Yeah.
Patricia Black was keeping quiet down there.
Well, I wondered why, since you didn't capitalize anything, why
Right.
did you capitalize the last two lines?
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay.
I wondered also about that.
You're so kind, we're more than 2 seconds, more than 2 second processing there.
The muse was in
Just
full
read itself.
control.
Don't you feel that sometimes?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's
Sometimes
trying
you're
to
just quiet
be
and sneaky too.
funny, goofy, whatever, throwing out tradition and so whatever. But the one on the other side is maybe more realistic.
The poem you said around about pelicans by the OU connected poet
Uh-huh.
was really lovely, wasn't it?
Uh-huh.
It was-
Joy and I, who lived in the midst of pelicans for all those years, didn't get the feeling from it. I mean, we have such a distinct feeling because of, anyway, but nonetheless, it activated the thought, and
Yeah.
as you say, it's
It's an intriguing bird.
The
I'm
state
from
bird of Louisiana.
Louisiana is the pelican state, of
We
course.
came close to losing them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yes, we did.
People were slitting their gullets and they couldn't hold their fish. They were
No, the poison.
The
DDT.
That
Yeah.
poison as well. Yeah.
DDT, the eggs would not hold up. The shell collapsed.
But they're back with the vengeance.
Yes,
They're everywhere
they
now.
are.
Yay.
Yay.
I used to call them my Alamorada Air Force. You know, they'd come in over the water and there they were.
I guess you've all been on the Keys Highway, you know, the overseas highway, which
Yeah.
is these bridges, miles-long bridges. And you'd be driving along and the pelicans would be coasting
Right,
along
yeah,
with you just
I-
off the bridge. You know, it was like they were part of
Yeah, they used to be like it.
one of your neighbors, that's
Yeah.
all.
Like you used to do that with cars, just sort of coast along, sort of scaring people.
What, it seems to me, you and Chris have to take your 2 poems you brought today and intersperse the lines and create a whole new poem.
Might work.
Okay, back to
Another reading.
grim reality of another reading. The chairs were firm, solid, hard, and oak, as was the lecture. Each syllable was firmly enunciated and heard with full apprehension. One could hear a pause between stanzas and the bending of the lines. Words piled on words, punctuation was both masked and underscored. The reader's eyes sparkled with intensity. Some feeling filled the atmosphere, and maybe it was only the feeling that was understood. The flowers on each side of the lectern shone brilliantly with color. The heavy chairs scraped after the applause. Were the listeners satisfied at the end? The looks on the faces were a bit clouded, and the appreciative silence simmered with an undertone. There would be a reception afterward.
Yeah, I've been to those lectures. Oh, that's lovely. You capture the moments.
There's an
In the
interesting-
last line of the second stanza, would you read what you said?
Shone brightly with color?
You
said
said brilliantly.
And also
Yeah.
you said the flowers on each side
Yeah.
rather to each side.
Uh-huh.
I think it's fascinating the way the mind
Mhm.
makes
Mine-
those
mine
changes.
edits. That's it is fascinating.
Yeah.
But I like brilliantly. I think brilliantly is a,
Brilliantly.
The extra syllables are nice, yeah.
Yeah, brilliantly works better.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with to each side of the lectern. Apparently, that's when I saw it when I wrote it, but then
Right,
there's
there's
nothing wrong with of each
Bless
side.
you.
Yeah, anyway, either way would work. But you like brilliant?
Brilliantly.
Brilliant.
Evidently, so do you.
Apparently I do. Today I like brilliant things.
Are you in the audience or speaking?
A little of both.
I am the great beyond observing.
The great beyond.
The great moth on the wall.
Great beyond what?
Beyond the slime.
Curious.
Earliest time observing.
What a mood we are
You're
in.
the slime.
Right.
Well, beyond.
Beyond the slime.
I don't have a poem. I have a question instead of a poem. And I'll give a little preface to my question. People memorize poems, people visualize poems, and people like me take away pieces of poems. And I have these little trailings running around in my head like hailstones and halibut bones.
You need to use that one.
Yeah, not original, it's not mine, it's somebody else's, but they're there. I spent time trying to hear what the sounds, other than voices, of Chaucer's caravans would be, right? So orphan and occasionally. So what takeaways do you have from poetry? Do you have these little random tidbits that stay with you?
I do it all the time, yeah. And it becomes a mind worm, and I can't get it out of my mind.
So
It may
give
be a
us an
phrase, not only
example.
poetry, it might be from Shakespeare or something, but suddenly it occurs to me and the damn thing lingers in my mind and I keep playing it over again and then another line will happen. Yeah, it does to me all the time.
Yeah.
Is that more irritating? You get the line, but you can't get the damn author. And you don't want to go back and find the whole poem, to stick it back in this page and keep it there.
Right. Well, I loved Cummings, and I'm still go around. I'm little UI, you know, and
Well, there's the muscle pulled in the hair and priested shore.
Well,
Yeah,
I know,
Dylan
that's
Thomas is just
memorization.
full
That-
of phrases like that. Just
this is
portions of.
this is just parts and pieces
Mm-hmm.
that we take away. We never really give attribution to them, but they're there, and we live with them, and obviously enjoy them. So I just wondered what was in your, as Felix says, mind worms.
Yeah.
I
These little-
love Cummings too.
Yes.
Someone lives in a pretty house town without so many floating bells down.
Right.
I get that on a regular basis.
What is it about these collection of words that makes us do this? Is this the essence of the poetic thought that we grasp?
And miles to go before I sleep, you know,
Sleep.
that's in
Yeah.
everybody's head.
Of course,
Right.
everybody
Well,
has it. Well,
Not Donald Trump.
Who pays?
Oh, he wrote it.
As Sven was reading his poem about pelicans, I couldn't help but think of Ogden Nash, you know, funny bird is the pelican.
Pelican home, Moreland and Pelican.
Pelican, yeah, and these things resonate forever, they get stuck in your mind.
They're good
Well,
things
that's
to
that,
have
you
stuck, though.
you acquire them because of love and because of music that sings through your mind. I mean,
Yeah.
the brain is a poetic organ. Even people who are poetically inclined.
Well, it's music,
yeah,
too.
Yeah,
It is.
Yeah,
Music and poetry, yeah.
this week, as we celebrated the 100th birthday of Frank Sinatra,
Yeah.
so much of what he sang, to me, is poetry. You know,
Sure.
Strangers in the Night. Here we
Sure,
are.
I did it my way.
Right, I mean, romance, glamour, and
San
it's
Francisco,
in the head.
you can,
Yeah,
the phrases pop into your mind.
yeah.
Well,
You
that
gotta
was-
wonder how they're summoned. Do they just spontaneously come to the
I can
surface?
see how many neuron
With
connections.
buoyancy?
You can see how many neuron connections you have between your eyes and your ears. Probably yes. One connection leads to another, and it's sort of like the butterfly that farts down in South America and creates a tornado in Oklahoma.
Sure.
So, butterflies.
What was a half second of non-consciousness?
Yeah.
right? All of a sudden you jump onto that one, and then you're back to this one.
I think of that line, yes, yes, 1,000 times yes, all the times.
I thought it was no, 1,000 times
Me,
no,
that's
I'd rather
what I
die
thought
than say
too.
yes.
No,
Maybe.
This was I think a Yeats thing, yeah. Or whoever pays any attention to the syntax of things will never wholly kiss you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up with my father spouting things like that
Mhm.
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
You know, come back, he cried in grief across the stormy water, and I'll forgive your Highland chief, my daughter, oh my daughter. Things like that, no reason at all, he just come out
Oh
with
no, and some of the poets who actually got off my dad was often would recite the Reap of Rauschen Beg. And because I had courses, I liked the little piece of it, but I looked up the whole,
Slow down,
looked up the
I'm
whole
having
poem,
trouble.
and it was absolutely god awful.
Well, my father really liked Robert Service and Rudyard Kipling, and you know they really handled who's the banjo?
Beyonce, yeah.
Banjo, what's his
right.
name?
Yeah, yeah.
I
The
just-
guy that wrote Waltzing Matilda.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and the one about the Polo Club.
Yeah.
But you know they're just always there, and who knows why they get triggered? Because you know I'll be lying in bed, thinking I'm asleep, and then
Right.
But you know, what I think about is that someone had to load that into your memory, even if it's not in your conscious memory, in order for it to bubble buoyantly
Yeah.
to the top
Yeah.
again. And so I'm wondering if the next generation is gonna be able to do this. I mean, we all were in a generation where you had to memorize poems and you had to read aloud and do oral declamations and so a lot of that stuff comes because it's stored back there in the recesses of our
Right,
mind.
that little damn metal and plastic thing.
I wonder if there's a difference between stored short phrases and pieces of poems like your father would give there, and if not a whole poem, short poem. Yeah, I wonder if there's a difference in
Yeah, to me,
our
there's
heads
a
as
difference.
to-
Yeah, like, as I say, this alphabetical poem whose author I have no way of remembering at the present time, had this list of items, nouns, and the thing that caught my eye was hailstones and halibut bones. You know, they're distinctive, why would they go together, and yet
You know,
I can't separate them
No,
anymore.
She's imprinting all of us right now.
Oh,
with
yeah.
this. Hailstones and halibut bones.
Felix, you could look it up in your little telephone.
Oh, I could
and-
probably find
I
it.
probably could.
I think it was a Canadian writer, but anyway, I do see a difference between memorization, which we all put the stuff into our heads, And what I call the little takeaways, the little jabs of one or two words that stay with us.
Yeah, having heard them, they're just filed away
I
without
have,
the effort of memorization.
maybe it's a habit in just my family, but we sometimes, if somebody makes a comment that's particularly loaded with emotion, we sometimes say, he said dejectedly. You know, so they
Or
make the
like a Tom
comment,
Swiftie.
it's like you're
Yeah.
writing the scene, you
His
know.
eyes fell into his lap to me.
Oh, dear. Well, what was he looking at then, though?
And of course, if we've watched PBS, opera on PBS recently, we sometimes sing our replies to each other.
Well, everyone have one. I like what Abe Lincoln said, the best thing about the future is that it comes one day at a time. So, time. They say that time is money, so I should have a lot of dough. Time flies and waits for no one. Is that considerate, I opine? Vic Walrus said, the time has come to think of many things, by gum. Yet thinking is a thing we do, morning, night, and all the time. When is it time to call it a day? When sleepy, some would say. Time marches on no matter what. Being present is the key.
Oh my gosh.
All the sayings about time.
Yeah.
You never can really capture what time is.
But you're
The
right.
fact that it
Tell
was
me what it
created, you can't tell me what it is.
It's
No.
relevant.
And considering it was created, and there was no, when Big Bang came along, and well, there's nothing before that, because there was no time then. I mean, that's such a, it's such a, the Big Bang is such a hard thing to wrap your own mind around, saying, how did it do that?
Yeah.
Time is-
Well, there is no time. I mean, it's completely something we
Arbitrary.
have.
Well, it's arbitrary, yeah.
Right.
Well, some philosophers have said it just that way, says time is an invention so that everything doesn't happen all at once.
Yeah, clarifying. I like it.
But some of the sayings about time just don't make any sense to me.
Is there a Cummings quote on time?
Probably.
F equals VW. That's the formula for buoyancy.
Oh, I thought it was something like the fault is with Volkswagen.
An upward impelling force opposes the weight of an object immersed in a liquid or air. Imagine, if you will, a column of fluid, however that might exist, with pressure ever greater the deeper one goes due to the overlying fluid's weight. Now think you of an object submerged in that fluid or air. The bottom dwelling pressure surpasses that at the top. Ergo, a net, yes net, upward force acts upon our object. The magnitude of the force exerted proportional to the pressure difference and equaling the weight of the displaced fluid or air is buoyancy. So,
You got that off the label of a buoyancy jacket, did you?
no, I looked it up on the net and I rephrased, you know,
Googled it?
I kept the facts straight, but I just, the wording was a little different.
That's a heavy poem about buoyancy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A lot of
whether
work
it's
to
singing,
be called a poem.
whether it's sinking.
And then buoyancy. Little does a bubble care, floating in the placid air, what force of nature keeps it there. A frigate, sloop, or battleship doesn't give a flaming flip what force has got it in its grip.
Flaming flip.
That's a great poem.
Did you see the news last night about that new battleship, they
Yeah,
God, that's a weird looking little thing.
Yeah, but
Really a big thing.
is that the one that, is only 3 weeks old and now it's, they had to tow it back in the
No,
port?
no, this is the one that rescued a sailor from, and a fisherman out at sea. He was in too small of a boat to get for someone else to save, and they got, went near them and they got what are those damn lifeboats called, the Navy SEALs use that have it. The black lifeboats.
Yeah, those
Air ones.
Rubber-
Yeah, the rubber
rubber-
one. Yeah,
rubber rifles. Are they called deltas? Or
No,
what? They've got
the
some kind of-
deltas are a different form of the special forces. I just can't get the name of that damn boat, but whatever.
Yeah.
They said when his boat's over and got the fisherman, he's happy now recovering.
Okay.
I love the way you have the, oh, excuse me.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm
The lightest and the heaviest
Mhm.
that you have, you know, that neither care what keeps them
Yeah.
there.
But we know from the top one, that it's a displacement.
But we care?
I will only know after I read it several times.
And I think that it's shameful that Ruth suggested buoyancy as a topic, then she didn't.
It's the season, I'm telling you. You know.
Tis the season
Holiday
to lose
stress
our
did it,
reason.
I presume.
Yes, yes.
Speaking as we were, the generations to come not having Liz's memories, love letters are going to be a thing of the past.
Yeah.
Because
I
you're
think
going
they
to
are.
erase them, your meows
Yeah.
at the end of the day. And
Print
Elizabeth
them out.
and her Barrett Browning work would have been for nothing.
That's
She
right.
sets no example in the modern age.
I know.
That's too bad.
But it's all gonna be up in the cloud.
Oh, yeah.
So
Me
there's
too.
just hundreds of billions of examples up in the clouds.
Little does
Only
the
if it's put
bubble
there.
care.
Floating in the Pacific.
Oh, yeah, that's nice.
There are a few people who still write letters,
Right.
thank goodness.
Are you one of them?
That's good.
I have
Let's-
a couple of friends
let's
who
see
still
how-
write letters.
Let's see how many Christmas
And my
cards,
family.
how long Christmas cards continue to stay, too. I mean, you can see it all disappearing.
Or maybe becoming electronic rather than in
They're
wood
forced
form.
to
Yeah.
exchange
I mean, I feel like we're just like Downton Abbey,
Oh,
Yeah.
you know,
But they are
January 3rd, I'm waiting for the day.
we're, I know, but I mean,
Well,
they're
it's-
looking at their lifestyle ending, and we're looking at our lifestyle.
Well, each
ending.
generation does that though. I mean, we complain about not memorizing the poems, but back in England during the old grammar school days, being sent off for 45 years to, when you were a kid to school, you had to memorize reams of stuff. Now we don't have to do so much memorization.
Right.
Well, it used to be back before they had the written word. Memorization was the only thing, you know, you had the scalds
Well,
that
and-
memorized the histories.
And the pictures and the glass windows in churches were for a tangible, kick in the brain cells about the stories of the Bible.
Mhm. And that's why you have the rhyming, because it's easier to memorize rhyming material than it is just.
Pity this busy monster man unkind not. Progress is a comfortable disease. Death and life safely beyond plays with the bigness of his littleness. Progress extends, oh, anyone help me here? That's
Oh,
about
I
it.
haven't heard that.
Wow.
That's a Cummings poem.
Yeah.
What is?
Coming.
Well,
Pity this busy monster man unkind not. Too busy to write a letter.
Gather ye rosebuds while ye
Look at your love poems. Look at my favorite poet for romances is old John Donne. And he was so many. I find his poetry so much fun and so both, some of it's both romantic and some of it is very, 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 very scalding.